This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 15th day of January in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. With the government tapping into the earnings from the oil sector, the finance minister announced this evening a budget that is worth $1.146 trillion, representing an increase of more than 46% over last year's budget. There are no new taxes in the budget, and a number of measures that were put in place to keep fuel prices and shipping prices down will continue this year. The budget will see billions of dollars being poured into a number of major government projects and initiatives. $7 billion is to be spent on still to be determined measures to cushion the impact of the rise in the cost of living. And the Minister of Finance announced that the old age pension will move from the current $33,000 per month to $36,000 per month, an increase of $3,000. And public assistance will move from the current $16,000 per month to $19,000 per month, a $3,000 increase. The finance minister also announced a $3,000 voucher towards the cost of eye tests for over 205,000 school children and 76,000 pensioners. And for those who require spectacles, they will receive a $15,000 voucher towards the cost of the spectacles for those school children and the pensioners. Guyana's economy recorded a 33% growth rate last year in comparison to the 62.3% growth rate of 2022, with the traditional non-oil sector expanding by 11%. Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh announced during the presentation of the national budget this afternoon.
Mr. Speaker, at the time of preparing Budget 2023, it was projected that real GDP would grow by 25.1%, with non-oil GDP expected to expand by 7.9%. Mr. Speaker, I am now pleased to report that Guyana's real GDP is estimated to have grown by 33% overall in 2023. I am also pleased, sir, to report that the non-oil real economy grew by 11.7%.
The economy is expected to see continued growth this year, he said. In presenting the fifth budget of the current PP Civic administration under the theme Staying the Course, Building Prosperity for All, the finance minister was quick to point out that while there has been positive growth in the majority of the sectors, there has also been contractions in some of the major sectors. He said the contractions must be examined in the context of both the domestic and international markets, explaining that Guyana was not immune to global economic shocks. It was announced that Guyana continued to record positive growth in the agriculture, forestry, and fisheries sector, which expanded by 7%, which was down from 11% in 2022. The sugar industry expanded by 28%, while the rice sector recorded a 7% increase in growth.
Mr. Speaker, growth in the other crops sector continued despite difficult weather conditions. It is estimated that the sector grew by 4.1%, with significant growth recorded in the production of such crops as coconuts, vegetables, root crops, and fruits, mainly on account of increased acreage cultivated and improved yields. Mr. Speaker, also on the upside, the livestock industry is estimated to have expanded. Mr. Speaker, the livestock industry is estimated to have expanded by 12.7% in 2023. It is expected that the production of eggs, poultry meat, pork, and milk expanded by 30.9%, 13%, 21.9% and 0.7% respectively.
The fisheries sector, which contracted in 2022, saw the reversal of that contraction last year and a growth rate of 38.7%. The mining and quarrying sectors, as well as the oil and gas sector, were the main drivers of the country's positive economic growth, with the mining and quarrying sector recording a 42.6% growth rate and the oil and gas sector expanding by 45.9%, with production of 142.9 million barrels of oil last year, in comparison to 101.4 million barrels in the previous year. The bauxite industry did not perform well in 2023 and contracted by 20.4%. One of the country's major export earners, gold, continued to record sluggish performances. The government and the Guyana Gold and Diamond Miners Association complained last year about the poor declaration from some categories of gold miners. In 2022, the sector contracted by 2.5%. Last year, the losses deepened with a contraction rate of 11.2%. The other subsectors comprising of sand, stone, diamond, and manganese grew by 22%. Stone and sand alone saw 98% and 20% expansion, respectively, due to the increase in construction activities in the country. The declaration of diamonds saw a steep decline by more than 19%. Additionally, the manufacturing sector expanded by 25% last year, with growth recorded in all three subcategories. The services sector expanded by 10.3%, with wholesale and retail trade, financial insurance activities, as well as storage and transport activities performing well. The construction sector saw growth of 26.8% last year. The minister said while the global market is expected to remain volatile, Guyana's economy is expected to see steady growth. More news coming up in just a moment.
My lord, I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
It's your time to win big! The Massey Store's Christmas jackpot promotion is back and bigger than before. Spend $5,000 at any Massey Stores to be the lucky winner of a brand new MGZS and fantastic weekly store prizes from now until January 31st, 2024. What are you waiting for? Head to your nearest Massey Stores to shop now. See our Facebook and Instagram pages for more details. Massey Stores, our family serving your family.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Twice the fun. Twice the thrill. On your next trip with Copa Airlines, stop over in Panama and enjoy 2 vacations in one at no additional airfare. Because to live life at its fullest, first you have to stop. So next time you fly Copa Airlines, stop over in Panama at no additional airfare.
Guyana received well over 1.3 billion US dollars in revenue from oil production in the Stabroek Block. Minister responsible for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, disclosed today as he presented the 2024 budget to the National Assembly. It was explained that last year there were 142 lifts of crude oil from Guyana's 3 floating production, storage, and offloading vessels. 17 of those lifts were for the government of Guyana. Of those 17 lifts that Guyana received, 6 were from the Liza Destiny FPSO, while 11 of the lifts came from the Liza Unity. It was based on those lifts that Guyana in 2023 received approximately 1.3 billion US dollars in profit oil. However, it was explained that 2 of the lifts dated back to the end of 2022.
The profit oil receipts recorded in 2023 correspond to 2 lifts that occurred in the last quarter of 2022 and 15 lifts that occurred in 2023. 2 receipts related to 2023 are anticipated to be made this month, and those relate to lifts that occurred late in the year, that is to say, in December of 2023.
Meanwhile, the royalty payments from ExxonMobil, the operator in the Stabroek Block, amount to $208.1 million US dollars. It was also disclosed that in keeping with the Natural Resource Fund Act and with approval from the National Assembly, just over $1 billion US dollars was withdrawn from the Natural Resources Fund to finance national development priorities. Notwithstanding those withdrawals, the fund closed the year with over $2 billion US dollars.
2023, $1,617 million in petroleum revenue was deposited into the fund, and at the end of the year, the overall balance inclusive of interest income stood at $1,973.5 million US dollars.
Oil production is also expected to see further growth this year. The Guyana Sugar Corporation, Guyana, will be given another shot in the arm as part of the government's recovery efforts for the sugar industry, with another $6 billion budgeted for the industry this year as part of the allocations for agriculture. During the budget presentation, the Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, said the additional injection is part of the government's continued efforts to revitalize the sugar industry. The $6 billion is expected to support Guyana's field and factory operations with the hope of turning around the industry. Dr. Singh said the investment being made to the sugar industry is already yielding results, as the industry saw a 28% increase in its production last year when compared to the figures from the previous year. Over 60,000 tons of sugar was produced. The finance minister boasted that in just under 3 years, the government was able to reopen the Rose Hall estate, which recommenced operations in September. In its retooling efforts, he said the government has realized the mechanization of more than 2,000 hectares of land for mechanical harvesting at Rose Hall, Albion, and the Blairmont estates.
And since September 2020, we invested in the rehabilitation and modernization of factories and kale fields. And over 4,600 workers were rehired, bringing total employment to over 8,100 employees across the industry.
The government plans to continue to convert lands for sugar production this year, with a target of over 7,000 hectares. The finance minister also said the continued investments in the sugar industry will be undertaken with the ultimate objective of ensuring that each estate is able to be back up and running in the future.
Mr. Speaker, in 2024, the budget for 2024, sir, will contribute $6 billion to Gaisuco to further improve production and operational efficiency of the industry.
Gaisuco received over $20 billion from the government over the past 3 years. A sum of $204.1 billion has been allocated in this year's budget to enhance road and bridge networks across the country, including a $4.2 billion injection into the 4-lane bridge at Wisma in Linden, $19.7 billion to advance works on the new Demerara Harbor Bridge crossing, and $10 billion for the first phase upgrades to the Soesdijk-Linden Highway. The budget for upgrades to road and bridge networks last year was $136.1 billion. During his budget presentation this afternoon, the finance minister said this year's allocation will also see significant upgrades to community roads and streets in every village across the country. Further, the minister said investments will also continue on hinterland roads to the tune of $5.5 billion. It was also explained that due to the upgrades being done on the country's road networks, the question of road safety is now high on the agenda. The government plans to implement a robust road safety and a traffic management plan, which will include the implementation of information technology solutions to manage traffic, including the development of a new radar system and new supportive laws and regulations.
Stock the finest in the country, both ceramic and porcelain, tiles and chandeliers you'll see while you shop around stress-free. Well, train stop at warming halls, make your shopping smooth and calm, providing you with quality to match your style that's so unique. Mima Decor.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who will be 18 years or over by December 31, 2023 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more is eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted a preliminary list of electors, PLE, at popular locations in all the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether your particulars or that of other electors are accurate. You can object to anyone who you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed in the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Monday, the 22nd of January 2024. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo, from its pristine rivers to its abundant resources. It's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. If you will be 18 years or over by December 31st, 2023, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you are required to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Monday, 15 January 2024 is the last day on which you can apply for a transfer. For further information, contact GCOM at 225-0278-9 or visit our website at www.gcom.org.gy.
The government intends to inject $97.6 billion into the agriculture sector to advance its growth and development. That's according to Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh. In delivering his budget address to the National Assembly today, Dr. Singh told the House that since 2020, the agriculture sector has been experiencing rapid transformation, evolving from small-scale rural-based subsistence-level farming enterprises to dynamic large-scale plantation-scale industries. The trend, he said, will continue this year, with massive investments in the sector totaling $97.6 billion.
Mr. Speaker, in 2024, we will continue to promote investments in large-scale agriculture by opening up new lands, developing high-yielding, pest-resistant and climate-resilient crop varieties, encouraging the establishment of modern farms to facilitate the use of technology and more efficient farm practices, promoting increased aquaculture and shrimp farming, cultivating new crops and expanded livestock production, modernizing, upgrading and strengthening both our drainage and irrigation and farm-to-market and infrastructure and support services.
Further, the minister said the government will commission a tissue culture laboratory, which is expected to produce over 1 million plantlets per year. The increased production, he said, will provide farmers with easier access to planting material for crops such as citrus, pineapple, breadfruit, coconut, ginger, turmeric, and other items. And zooming in on the rice industry, Minister Singh told the House that last year the government, among other things, invested in a new high-yielding bio-fortified zinc-enriched rice variety and successfully established a seed-producing and processing facility at Blackbush Polder. He said technology was also used to advance rice cultivation across the industry, adding that this year rice farmers can expect added support amounting to over $1 billion.
In 2024, we will continue to invest in improving the quality and quantity of seed paddy available to the rice farmers. We will provide enhanced best practices in the cultivation of paddy. We will continue to research and develop high-yielding varieties with good milling and cooking qualities and varieties that are salt-resistant and resistant to major rice diseases. We will evaluate the new G1410 high-yielding variety in farmers' fields in 2024. Mr. Speaker, in addition to drainage and irrigation, which I will address shortly, the sum of $1.3 billion will be expended by GRDB to support increased production and productivity in the rice industry.
Meanwhile, the government has set aside some $2.6 billion to advance the production of non-traditional crops such as corn and soybeans, citrus, and coconuts. Additionally, persons operating within the livestock sector can expect an investment of $1.2 billion, while the fisheries and aquaculture sector will receive $1.2 billion. Last year, the agriculture sector received $60.4 billion. The government of Guyana, through the Attorney General's chambers, will be moving to the Court of Appeal to appeal a High Court ruling that found the deduction of payments for nurses who were involved in a protest over their working conditions at Linden was unlawful. In March of 2021, the then management of the Linden Hospital refused to pay the full salary for several nurses who were protesting over their working conditions and calling for the removal of the then CEO. The nurses, through the Guyana Public Service Union, filed court action, and the High Court recently ruled in favor of the nurses, declaring that the deduction from their salaries and the hospital's management punishing them for absenteeism was unlawful. The court ordered that the deduction payments be repaid to the nurses and that a letter instructing the deductions be withdrawn. The GPSU said it found out that an appeal was filed in the matter after it wrote to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, requesting that the ministry follows the court order and pay the nurses the money that was deducted. In response, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry informed the union of the move to appeal. The GPSU said the injustice that was committed on the workers should not be prolonged, adding that the workers continue to suffer from the unlawful act. A 22-year-old man from Kurukuru on the Suzac-Linden Highway who was wrongfully arrested and jailed for 80 days has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the state as compensation for his wrongful detention. On the 10th of June last year, the 22-year-old man, Terrence Sandy, was walking home when he was approached by a police van and questioned by the police officers about whether his name was Caesar. The youth answered in the negative but was arrested and taken to the Tamari police station. In his complaint, he said he was later taken to the Madwini police station and held in custody without being provided with any information about the reason behind his arrest and his detention. The man said he remained in custody until he was taken to the Diamond Magistrates Court, where he was charged for break and entry and larceny. He did not have any attorney at his side and was remanded to jail immediately following his not guilty plea. He was later transferred to the Luzignan jail, and it was during that time that his family secured the services of the Dexter Todd law firm. Attorney Dexter Todd explained that when his office examined the police file on the man's arrest and the charges, it was discovered that there was no evidence linking the man to the crime, and he was never identified by the victim as the perpetrator. The attorney said when his law office wrote to the Director of Public Prosecutions on the matter in July of last year, requesting that she reviews the file and withdraw the charges against Mr. Sandy, it was discovered that the file was never sent to the DPP for advice before the charges were instituted against the young man. Todd said after multiple delays by the police, the file was eventually sent to the DPP, who ordered that the charges be withdrawn against the young man following the examination of the police investigation. The state is also facing a number of similar lawsuits for wrongful arrest and detention. Agents of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit carried out an operation in the Unity Hubu area in Parika this morning and discovered more than 120 pounds of marijuana during the search of a home. A statement from Kanu explained that during the operation, several large bulky bags were noticed, and upon close examination, the agents found a number of brick-like parcels in the bags. A search of those parcels revealed the presence of marijuana. Kanu arrested 39-year-old Lachman Sankar and 36-year-old Sanya Ramratan, who were at the residence at the time. Kanu said the total number of parcels amounted to 102, with the weight of the marijuana being 121.44 pounds. According to Kanu, the seized marijuana carries a street value of 20 million Guyana dollars. The two suspects remain in custody as the drug bust investigation continues.
Are you looking to start or advance your career with one or more of our world-class associate, bachelor, or master's degrees in 14 specializations from the comfort of your home worldwide? Then look no further than the University of Excellence Management in Business, UEMB. We are affordable, accessible, flexible, multi-world class, internationally accredited and locally recognized by NAC Guyana as a tertiary degree granting college. For more details on our no strings attached 60% scholarship and our payment plan, please call 225-1395, 225-1397-9, 681-3434 or 618-3434. Visit our administrative office in the Critchlow Labour College front building, Wolford Avenue, Georgetown, Guyana. Progressing to a degree is as easy as ABC with UEMB. Deal with the best and forget the rest.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. If you will be 18 years or over by December 31, 2023, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors PLE for all registration divisions at popular locations across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration if you are not listed, change correction to your particulars if they are incorrect, or object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Monday the 15th of January 2024. 2024. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Monday, the 22nd of January 2024. All GCOM registration offices will be open Mondays to Fridays from 8 hours to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 hours to 14 hours. For further information, contact GCOM at 225-027-829 or visit our website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at FoodMax and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. FoodMax, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall. In the region, Reuters in a report said anti-corruption crusader Bernardo Arevalo took office as Guatemala's president early on Monday after a chaotic inauguration caused by a last-minute attempt by opposition lawmakers to weaken his authority. After a delay of nearly 9 hours, the newly sworn-in president and vice president made their first appearance at the National Palace of Culture to greet a crowd that had assembled at the capital's Plaza de la Constitucion. In a speech, Arevalo pledged not to leave Guatemala's indigenous people behind. He also vowed to end discrimination and racism. Guatemala's indigenous have historically suffered from discrimination and poverty, with 80% of their children suffering inadequate access to nutritious food, according to UN studies. Arevalo's unexpected election victory last August was seen as a watershed moment for Guatemala, where the 65-year-old has cast himself as a democracy advocate and leader of a progressive movement bent on reshaping a political landscape long dominated by conservative parties. Heavy rains that buffeted Brazil's Rio de Janeiro state this weekend have killed at least 11 people, according to the state fire service. According to Reuters, the rains flooded streets, the capital's metro line, and people's homes, bringing down trees and causing landslides. Rio's mayor announced a state of emergency while President Luis Lula da Silva's government offered federal support. Firefighters are still looking for one woman who is missing after her vehicle fell in a river. And finally tonight, international news. Reuters in a report said Taiwan lost one of its few remaining diplomatic allies, Nauru, to China on Monday, just days after it elected a new president and accused China of attempting to pressure it while it affirmed the will of the Taiwanese to go out into the world. China claims Taiwan as its own territory with no right to state-to-state ties, a position Taiwan strongly disputes, and the two have for years traded accusations of using dollar diplomacy as they compete for diplomatic recognition. Taiwan security officials told Reuters before Saturday's election that China was likely to continue to whittle away at the handful of countries, now down to a dozen, that maintain formal diplomatic ties with Taiwan. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.